The Freeform Fillet command allows you to create a surface fillet in between two surfaces with an adjustable bias and depth of curvature. Let me go ahead and show you how this works. We'll start off with, actually let's not do it with a plane. Let's do something a little more interesting just for starters. We'll grab a sphere like so, and I'll duplicate it and grab another sphere, pull them apart like so. And what we can do as far as creating the fillet itself is we can start off just by using isoparms. Now, we don't have to use isoparms. We can use curves on surfaces, which I'll demonstrate here in just a moment. But for now, let me just grab a pair of isoparms, like you see here, and we'll go down to Edit NURBS, Surface Fillet, Freeform Fillet. And if we open up our options, we have bias, depth. We have our tolerance settings where we can control the accuracy of the position of the fillet surface as well as its tangent accuracy. For the most part, in a lot of cases, you won't really need to mess with these too much. And you can control the output geometry, whether you want NURBS, polygons, subdivision, or Bezier surfaces. The two we're most interested in are bias and depth, and we can actually address those after we create the surface. So let's go ahead and click Fillet, and here's what we end up with. A fillet surface that smoothly joins the two spheres together. Now if we go back down to our Fillet Surface 1 node, you'll see we still have control over our position tolerance and tangent tolerance. And you can adjust these if you need to fine-tune. As I said earlier, though, in most cases, the default values are going to work out great for you. Now, we have a depth of curvature, which we can increase or decrease. And you can see the effect that it has there. Adding more depth will give you more curvature in between the surfaces while maintaining that tangency. And pulling it back will kill out that curvature. So you can pick which one you like the best. And you have bias, which will take the connection point. If you thought of this like two panels, like so, that met here at this isoparm, the bias is what allows you to blend more toward one surface than another. So using the two of these, you have a lot of control over exactly what your surface fillet is going to look like. And you don't necessarily have to use isoparms. For example, I could go here into a top view. We could create a plane, which I'll scale up a little bit. Let me grab my CV curve tool, and we'll create some really cool looking curve that sort of snakes across the surface like so. Now let's grab the curve and our surface together. We'll choose Project Curve on Surface, and then I'll delete out the curve because I don't need it anymore. And let's just make a duplicate of this plane. So we'll move it up, Control D, move it up, and then I'll slide it off to the side so we have a little bit of tangential direction we can work with. Now I can grab this curve on surface and this curve on surface and do the exact same thing I did before. We go to Edit NURBS, Surface Fillet, Freeform Fillet, and we get a nice freeformed fillet shape that goes right in between those curves and tries to follow as best it can the tangency of the two surfaces. It looks really good too. Let me go over to my attribute editor and we'll increase our curve precision in shaded view just a little bit so it looks a little sharper. And now we also we have that surface fillet node, which we can control the bias if we want to flow more toward one surface than the other. So you see how we can pull that left and right. And we have depth, where we can control the depth of that curvature, get really a sort of a cascade-like look. And really that's all there is to it. It's just a way for you to create a nice free-form surface between two surfaces using surface curves. And that's going to wrap things up for this video. Thanks a lot.